Okay. So good evening, everybody. My name is Pascal Nobert. I'm the moderator for today, and today we are very lucky. We are crossing borders. We are climbing. Is it climbing or boarding planes? We are boarding planes, and I know some of you love watching Nigerian movies and the Ogas. Yes, the Aki and Popo. At least you have somebody who knows them in person today, and I believe Eh, if you can see your screen, it is lit up. Don't compare mine because I'm also handsome, but I won't say there's more light in the room today. So I'd take this opportunity to introduce our speaker of today. She goes by the name Abimbola Abikoy. Yes, I would say the English name because I believe our Nigerian sisters and brothers, they really love the way their names are. So I don't know if I should also say mine. I'm also Oga Nobat Oduogo for today. That would do. So Abimbola is an environmentalist. She's a social innovator. She's also a community-based researcher, and she's also the founder of Revamp Rave Network. And she has a wealth of experience in dealing with young people, a wealth of dealing with people in terms of things to do with climate, things to do with environment. And I believe you can check her up. She's on Instagram, she's on Twitter, she's on LinkedIn. Yes, just search Abimbola Abikoy, and you'll find her there and the things that she has done and everything also there. She also has her own website where she posts a lot of things that she does that are very positive, things that are changing the world today. She's also, I believe, part of the International Climate Change Development Initiative Africa. So this our speaker is somebody who is really great, somebody who has really traversed this world of community based engagements and everything else. So today she's going to speak to us about youth power. We are all young people. We all want to make it in life. We all want to do so many things, but we keep on saying that, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have this. But today we have a person who's going to tell us how we can use our tools, those things that are around us, to achieve social impact. She's going to talk about you don't really need all these things that we really envision. So, but the things that are around you actually can really make you achieve great things. And I believe this session is going to be a wonderful one that it is Kenya and Nigerians. At least today we are not fighting over Twitter because sometimes KOT and the Nigerians can really push this battle so far. So welcome Abimbola.
Thank you.
Please to the members, our language for today is English. Yes, but I will give a session for you to speak in our beautiful Kiswahili language, and I believe Abimbola has also been training to know some bit of our words. So feel welcome. You are now talking to beautiful and handsome Kenyans. Young people are very hungry to succeed and have the vigor to also become great leaders in the future. So welcome. Um, feel free. Feel a Kenyan. This is the Kenyan feel. So I just say it in Kiswahili. Karibu sana.
Mhm. Okay, good evening, everyone, and I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to speak with us. I'm happy to learn as well because we're all learning from each other. And don't mind my profile. I'm just doing little things to make sure that our countries are better, our world is better, and we leave the world a better place for generations to come. Okay, so my name is Abike Abimbola, like the moderator has rightly said, and I would be speaking to you on youth power, a tool for social change. I know that, and I'll be talking about it from three different angles, putting an additional bonus to it, making it four. So I'll be speaking from the angle of our personal self. I'll be speaking from the angle of our communities. I'll be speaking from the angle of our regions, and I'll be speaking from the angle of the global world. So before now, we know that many of our countries, our individual countries, our communities, we face a lot of challenges. During the time of our parents, they will tell you that the world today is not as it used to be. We have a different story. People to come have a totally different story based on whatever it is that we do today. And so we know that, particularly in Africa, we know that the world is divided into three. We have the developing, the developed, and the underdeveloped. So we fall under the part of the developing countries because we have so many things to do and we have a long way to go in terms of advancement, in terms of technology, and the likes. But now, in all these things, young people are beginning to realize, or young people have realized that many of the things that are happening, they are not okay with it. And so they need to make a change. They need to make their voices heard. They need to create that better world that they seek to have or to live in or to live for their children. And so now many young people are becoming voices for different things. And we know we are the product of our environment, and our environment sums up our existence. So now, as regards our youth power, many of us think to make a change or to be a very wealthy person in terms of the business ideas that we bring or that we develop or we establish, there are certain things that we need to have to make this thing work. And looking at it, people have tied it to finances. People have tied it to having a particular social circle. People have tied it to having born in a different country, or if I wish I had a better opportunity, or different things. They feel that they are being disadvantaged, and they feel if they have all these things, they can better make a change. So many of us struggle. I know many of us on this chat or on this session, we have our individual things that we are doing. Many of us are entrepreneurs. Many of us own non-governmental organizations. Many of us work with people, different businesses and all. And we think that if I want to make a change as a business owner, there's this amount of money that I need, so I can't do much. Or as a non-governmental organization, I want one particular grant, or I need to have a grant before I make that change. And today I am telling you that that idea or the ideology that you have is totally wrong. It is necessary. It is something that you need to have, but it is not a prerequisite to start what you need to do in terms of making social change. So now, what is youth power? In this context, youth power is the body features that you have to bring to life whatever it is that you want. It could be what is in your mind, it could be things that you see based on the reflection of everything that is in your environment. Because our environment, without our environment, we are nothing. We will not have education, we will not have a place to live, we will not have what to eat, we will not have the water to drink, and on and on and on. So what is these bodily features? So these are your mind, number one, your mind, which brings out the ideas that you need to bring to life. Your mouth, which you use to speak these things to life, form partnerships, work to places, engage with them, find problems, and find solutions to these problems. Your heart, which is to be used to love these ideas enough for you to want to walk towards it with your feet, and your hands to carry on your legacy to the next generations to come. This power that you have can never be overemphasized. And if you do not realize that you have this power within you or in your body, then you cannot make the change, no matter how much you are being given, no matter how wealthy you are. If you don't utilize this thing the way that you need to utilize them, you cannot make that change or that business idea that you need to change your life or the life of others or make the world a better place. So now, in having all of these things, I know most of us think we undermine this gift, or rather we undermine this power that we have, which is our hands, our mind, our hearts, our legs, and all of that. We undermine it. We don't give it the due respect that it has, because without your hands, you can't do anything. Without your mind, you can't do anything. Without your heart, I don't think you can do anything. without your legs, you can still do something, but then you have them, so utilize them the way you should utilize them. So how do you use these things to create social impact? You need to know that you have this thing. You need to be aware that you have them. Then now you live in a community, in a world that you wish for it to be a better place. But for now, you're displeased with a whole lot of things in terms of the decisions the government make, the decisions your local leaders make, the decisions your family make, the decisions you as an individual even make unconsciously and consciously. So how do you do this? You are aware. And I would want to tell you a personal story. And the personal story is I used to feel that money could do everything. Once you have the money, you can start on anything that you want to start on. But then I realized that truly, money is nothing. That day I was just walking down the road before all of this started. I was walking down the road, and before I knew it, I walked out of my community zone and I went to another community. And I just sat down there for like an hour and I was just observing. And I saw so many things. And I was like, if I can walk to this place without having to pay a tea fare, and I asked a bit of few questions from the people seated around on what exactly it is that is bothering them. And some of them would answer, some of them would be hostile to you, some of them would not even mind you because they feel, why should they be talking to a stranger? And I realized that money might not be everything or might not be the starting point. All you need to do is start. And that was how my community engagement started. I went to a particular community with the help of some few friends though, and in creating social impact, this is an aside, you need to have people who believe in the same vision or who have the same vision with you, or as well, or people who want to make the same change. Because when you don't have some certain things or elements or things that can help you out to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve, the support of these people come as a force that can lift you to do whatever it is that you want to do. So your circle too is important. So I started this community engagement with no money. I got it, I went online, I posted it online, and never underestimate the power of social media. I'm not the type that posts a lot, but I just had to start posting because I didn't have the resources, but I have tools that I could use to get the resources that I have. And that was how all of this started, with no money. So now I am a believer of, if you don't have money, you can do whatever it is you want to do. All you need to do is start, and don't let that idea down. That idea die. So now what then is social impact? Social impact is an activity that creates positive change in a society. Could be through a business, could be through the government, it could be through the individual or anything. So now many businesses, intentionally or unintentionally, create some negative impact based on what they do to our environment. And now the world is beginning to drop consciousness that any business or any person that is not in the social impact space should be in the social impact space, because whatever it is you're producing has a way of bringing up some environmental defects. And it is by you getting involved in sustainable businesses can you make the impact or make the environment sustainable. I would use oil production as an example. So now you're in a community. Your community, because I believe that every community has everything that is indigenous to them. The different communities that we have different indigenous products. So you might have a community that they produce coconuts here and they use it to make different products, different local products that they sell. This other community might have a sawmill. This other community might have a rice mill. This other community might be producing food. This other community, we all have different and unique products that each of these communities bring. And some of them have oil. And you know that when it comes to oil is like the main business of, or a main resource of any nation that has oil. Every nation wants to tap into the oil because it brings about lots and lots of revenue that can help develop the community. But then how sustainable is that oil? And when they drill this oil, communities, when they don't drill it well, communities suffer from it. That's when we get to hear of oil spill. You get to hear of gas flaring. Gas flaring is a process of extracting oil. And all of that And these people suffer. And you as a person, you live in this community. Do you just live every day and act like it's not your business, knowing that you don't get to experience day or night because gas is being flared? You have large amounts of fire coming out of a particular place, and you can't breathe well because the fumes it emits destroys your very breath that you breathe. And you can't as well have a very serene sleep because the noise of the flames and everything destroys the very silence of the night. And as a person, what do you do? And you feel, oh, you need money to start a social change. No, you don't. What happens to calling a few friends, going out, talking to people? How can you stop this thing? Approaching these businesses, because now I believe that in creating social impact, we don't need violence. All we need to do is talk and act in a way that it is bringing results. So today, many young people are asking for change, but then amidst asking for change, many young people only talk and talk and talk and talk. But a few young people act. So how do you want to define acting? To create social change, there is one thing you need to do: know the problem. When you know the problem, then you can as well, you can channel all the potentials that you have as a human being that God has blessed you with. You can now work towards it. So when you have a problem, because I believe in research, aside having to add research into my work, which I realized that I looked at every single impact that we make, social impact that we make as a community, as regions, as globally, regionally, and nationally. How does our social impact project that we've carried out, and a lot of organizations have carried out, a lot of individuals have carried out, how well does it create the social impact that is needed? And I realized that there was a loophole. And so I said, okay, I would cover this loophole and I would not be like many other organizations. I want to be like the very few organizations that are making a change in their areas of specialization. So I took into community-based research, researching on my own. Okay, I know the problem, because we are too quick to want to say, oh, there's a problem here. Yes, there is a problem here, but how well do you know about that problem that you're pointing at? So it is subjective. It is subjective, rather. There is a problem. It's either you're experiencing it in your community where you live daily, or you know about a problem that you're passionate about that is happening in another community, maybe in a neighboring community or a community that you feel things like this shouldn't be happening. So in this case, how well can you, or how well do you know this problem? And that's where research comes in, or rather, I would like to use the word need assessment. This is where you do your research and you get the root of the problem. When you get the root of the problem and you answer all the questions, like the what's, the how, the why, the who, the whom, then you can now say, okay, how do I create a change? Because many of us, we are quick to say there is a problem here. When it comes to solutions, we bring solutions from outside and want to impose it on this community. And when you impose it on the other community, the chances that you'll be creating social impact is slim. So now, how do you now work towards creating social impact? When you get a problem, I believe that in every problem, anywhere you spot a problem, the solutions lie in that place the problem started from. So how well can you identify the solutions that best suits that community and work towards creating that social change that is required? So when you spot the problem, you have your solutions. If you do your job and answer all the questions the research would want to ask, when you get that, then you can now start working. Like, okay, who do I need to approach? Who do I need to write to? Who are the right channels to meet, to know, to be able to achieve this purpose of solving this problem? And so you cannot do without people in creating social impact. You approach these people. If it requires you writing a letter, write a letter. If it requires you going there, you go there. And when you do, you get your solutions. At that point, you don't need money. You do not need money the way people think, oh, I need finances to create that change. No, that's a wrong ideology. Anybody that thinks of money at this stage without even thinking about the problem, the person has lost it. Even in businesses, in creating businesses, you need to understand what and why you want to start what you want to start before you even start thinking of money. And when you're done, you come back and you draft out everything that you've gotten into how you best how you think is best for you to carry out that particular action that can create that change that you need. And I would not, this can never be overemphasized. When you want to do anything, you need to meet the right authorities and get permission, because you cannot just bump into a community and say you want to create a social impact. These are practical methods for you to create a social impact. And do you know that in doing all of this, you've applied using your hands, you've applied using your mind, you've applied using your heart, and you've applied using your legs, because you have to work to make the change. You can't sit down and you spot a problem and you give it to somebody else who don't work for you. It's not possible. It's what you believe in. And so the other element I would like to speak about is you cannot make a change if you are not, you cannot make a social change if you are not interested in the particular problem or the particular, yes, or in the particular area or the particular area of problem. If you're not interested in that area of problem, then you cannot make enough impact. So what I will say is, when we end this class or this session, I would like us to go back and look at issues that resonate with us. Could it be air pollution? Somebody amongst us might have asthma and they do open burning in his or her community. And you know that an asthma patient and fumes, they can't stay together. When your air is polluted, you can't stay in that place. It's either you fall more ill or you die on the spot. So how do you solve that problem? How do you solve that problem of waste as somebody who wants to create social impact? You meet the right authorities and all of that. So these are how we can make the change without money. And let me tell you something from a personal experience. When you do what you have to do, money would come. It might not enter your pocket, but you will see the finances to floor that project and create that change that you need. And there are lots of things that we can do. You don't have to do a very big project or go to a community to look for problems before you create social impact. It could be through the way you live your life. Maybe you're the type that consumes a lot of junk and you throw plastics and cans everywhere. Try to recycle them. That is another angle of creating social change as an individual, because it's this little act of us that we make, rather, that can create that big impact that is required. Because if I am doing that, every single one of us is doing that, every community is taking responsibility, then would create a social impact. And if you have a friend that runs a business that is not sustainable, how do you make the person make sure that his business is sustainable? You talk to them, you bring up solutions. Like, your friend could be producing fabrics. And we know that in producing fabrics, or rather in sewing, or we that we are fashion, many people, I say we, many people that are fashion designers, they make clothes and they bring up waste from there. How do you recycle those waste? You could tell them to sell these bits of trash, or you could tell them to call people who make an Afro. We know that we Africans, we are unique. And so we are there is nothing we cannot do with what we have, or all the little things that we do. We could make them into earrings, bangles. We could wrap our bangles, our wristwatches that have peeled, instead of throwing them away, we could wrap them with the materials. Those are innovative ways for us to create social impact. And if you know that you have somebody who consumes a lot of things, how can they recycle? Okay, keep your bottles. I'll tag you to a recycling company, You can take your bottles there. Many of us use bottled water. How can you keep these things? Because if I drink a bottled water, I'm not perfect, but I'm trying as much as possible not to use plastics, which it is something that we cannot totally let go of, but we can find a means of making sure that they don't destroy our environment. I keep my bottle in my bag. When I get home, I keep it at the corner. When it is big enough, I call a recycling company, please come and help me pick my bottles. And I get a reward for it. Those are little actions. And so we can do this through sharing knowledge, which I've just said now. Share knowledge with each other. What am I doing right? What are you doing wrong? What are you doing wrong? What am I doing right? We share ideas with each other. Make sure our friends are dealing in a sustainable way. If our businesses are creating some social challenges, how do we convert these challenges into opportunities? How do we do that? We look at that too. So, and we also we could volunteer. If there are communities who don't even have lots of things to do, they don't have this sort of exposure, they don't know what climate change is, they don't know how their activities are detrimental to the environment or even to their health. How can you volunteer to make sure that these people get this knowledge? You can just get one Saturday, you can just wake up rather than going to watch a football or going out to gist with your guys. You can just call your guys today, let's go to this community and go and talk to them. That is another angle to creating social change. It doesn't have to be a big one. Little actions can. And also, you could just enjoy nature. Make sure that you don't maybe if you want to do, many of us who have different sort of hobbies, like we know that some guys play soccer, what they call PSP. A lot of us do a whole lot of different leisures. How sustainable are your leisures? Do you just for those of us who have bikes, do you just ride your bikes every time when you know that okay, this thing, if you ride it every day, it sort of pollutes the air and emits CO2 in the atmosphere? How can you make sure that our breath is fresh enough? Do you plant trees? All these little are you part of those who cut down trees? And many of it. So now, if you want to create local, if you want to if you want to find solutions to local problems, you have to use local solutions. Because I subscribe to the idea that many local communities, like peri-urban communities and rural communities, they don't have so much exposure. And it will take all of us to be able to make sure that these activities that we do reaches these communities and we help them out, because they have no choice to do some of the thing like cooking with firewood and all of that. So as a person that is knowledgeable and you want to create social impact, how can you talk to these people, or what can you do to make sure that they reduce this thing? Many communities cut down trees and they have a sawmill. If, for instance, you go to a community that has a sawmill, they cut down trees and they do a lot of that. They have sawdust. Why can't we think of innovative ways for us to convert this sawdust into materials like cooking materials and all these things? Well, there's specifically bricks that they can use, that are sustainable ways they can use, the product they can use in cooking and all of that. So in creating social impact, to round it up, in creating social impact, we must know that we must apply our wisdom, applying our minds, applying our brains. We do not need some sort of finances. We do not need some sort of social circle. All we need is ourselves and our will to create those social impact. And we can only do that if we can identify the problem, create solutions based on the peculiarity of the problem, and start working towards creating that change. If we start with just merely talking to people, and it will go a long way in creating that social change that we want. So as youths, we have the power because we are young, we form majority of the world's population. We are energetic, we are passionate, we have fine innovative ways because we have the mind, we have the energy. And it is through our energy, our minds, and our innovation that we can change the world to the better place that we want it to be. And the change that you seek starts with you and nobody else. Thank you. I can't hear you.
I think such a
Okay.
powerful presentation. I really love the vig and the power that you have in your voice, and how passionate you really are about creating social change, and as the youth, using the power that you have within us to drive these change and to bring in solutions to these to the society. Some of the pointers that I've really taken is like I've not thought about my bodily features in such a way, like my mind in terms of bringing out ideas. I believe everybody in this forum today, there are so many things that you always wake up thinking, well, I can really do this, I can really do this, but you're waiting that perhaps I don't have these materials to do this. But when that idea crosses your mind, just as Mbola says, and your mouth speaks life to it, and your heart loves the idea, then you've already built it up. You just need to start. You just need to start. She has actually talked about us not pegging our ideas on financial strength. It will come. So I just love to use Kiswahili at this point to say that your pesa itakuja. The money will come in whatever you do. You just need to start. The money will come in the process. It may not be huge, but just we just need to make the step. You also talked about social impact being an activity that creates change in the society. And you've also shed light that as young people, we know how to demand for change. And particularly in our country, and I also know in Nigeria, when people hear of Buhari and people hear of Kenyatta in Kenya, we really speak about our political elites not doing much. But us as young people, we are doing very little to actually change the course. And in terms of climate change, I believe an area where you are, is in a way is your forte. As young people are saying, oh, the environment around us is very dirty, but you're the same people contributing to everything that is happening. I also love the fact that you've pointed out that young people are very energetic, young people are very passionate, young people are very innovative. We have mind-boggling ideas, and we just need to put them across. We just need to support each other. And I believe under this point you say that we really need people who believe in our ideas, people who believe in your dream as a support system for you to actually move from one step to the other. You've talked of your personal story, having the power of social media that we have right now that you never used to post, and I believe I can bear witness because I've seen your social profile. You're not like a posting person, but you had to post so that people get your story, people get to work. And believe it takes time. With time, people get to know what you do. With time, people get to understand what you do. I've also seen videos of you doing community engagement with let me say age mates of my mother, of my parents. People are very yes, and they are sitting around there, they are listening to you, and they want to know what next. Yes, what next, what can we do from our side? So for young people who are in this forum, it is just about making that one step for us to make that social change. So I don't know if you are done, or we can invite people for questions.
Yeah, I'm done, so I can take
I'm
questions
very
now.
fired up, by the way. You can take questions. I'm very fired up today. I'm very fired up. So as we start, please, if you have a question, you can post it on the chat box. If you have a question, you can also raise up your hand. I'll unmute you and we can talk. So there's a question from Andrew Ndenge. He says that let me just read exactly what he has said. Wow, that
Okay.
was a wonderful and positive message to us. And then I believe this is a question. He's asking, what is the key take on one soldiering in doing, what is the most key take on one soldiering in doing that change to the community? I don't know how you understand this, but let me
Yeah.
paraphrase it. Um, what is that one thing that is key in for a person who wants to do community change? I don't know if I've paraphrased it well, Andrew. You can correct me,
I
but I
I
don't know if
understand.
Abimbole have understood the
I
question.
I do understand the question. So the major thing that you need, aside knowing that you need to have, aside being aware that you have the power and you have the mind to create that change, the major thing that you need is to engage. Because many of us make a mistake, and the mistake we make is, before I say that, I would like to say one thing. We are in the era where we utilize our social media platform to get news, to get updates, to be informed, basically. And in leveraging on this platform, many times we have misinformations on various topics. So if we are searching for a problem, or maybe we hear something, a problem from a friend or people discussing, and we want to learn more because we are triggered to know more, we go on the internet. We read, or for those that read wide and read very vastly, we read all the documents that we can find online as to the problem. And when we get this thing, we want to act on them immediately. This is where the answer to your question comes in. Do not act immediately. When you get this information from the various resources that you have gotten, engage with the community that you've spot the problem from, or you've heard that they have so problem. In engaging with the community, would you know if, because if we read something or we surf the internet, we have this mind that we've already concluded on the solutions, we've concluded on so many things. So now you have to keep an open mind. When you now engage with the community, you will be shocked that many of the things that you've read online, it's not like they're not factual, they are, but they contribute 40% to the problem that you're looking for. In engaging with this community, would you get, if not 100, you will get 90% of the actual cause of the problem. And that is when whatever action that you want to make or you think should be done to solve that problem would make that social impact. So after learning all of these things, the very strong step you need to take is engaging. Engaging can never be overemphasized. In fact, engaging births clarity, and it gives you that validity to create the change that you want to create. So I think that's it. Next question, please.
Yes, I believe Andrew, you've been answered. I believe most of the time we have this problem of rushing into doing things. You spot a problem and you feel like you're really fired up in your belly and you feel like you are the solution to this problem, or you feel you are the flash of today and you want to act on it very quickly. But from what I'm learning today, you're being told that you really need to take your time. Actually, in terms of solving local problems with local solutions, perhaps you might rush to look at these things and look them up in the internet, and perhaps you're getting problems that perhaps, let's say we're having a problem in Kenya, but the problem that presented in the internet is something happening in perhaps in Bangladesh. So in terms of experience and in terms of whatever is happening in our local communities, it might be different. So Andrew, you engage with the community first, because you need, I believe, if my words are right, you need to, it's like a validity, to create a validity for what you're going to do, to understand whatever the situation is happening on the ground. There's also a Bimbola. I don't know if the name is long for me. If I'm feeling
You're
like saying
correct.
Lucia, but
Don't worry, you're
it's
correct.
okay.
Okay, you can say Lucia if you know that that's too long for you. You can just restrict to Lucia. It's fine. It's my name.
Yes.
So
Okay.
yeah, my
So
name.
yes, there's a comment. The comment is saying, I am learning and increasing my ability in discovering who I am in my community. So my question, as we wait for
Okay.
the rest, is what are the negatives of engaging the community in terms of, let's say, for example, when you decided that you could create a change in the community, you started by engaging people and also involving your friends and posting things. What are those things that at least at some point actually made you feel like this is not for me, I shouldn't be doing this, those things that made you feel like you should take a step back and just focus perhaps on your life, or perhaps on your education, or do something else?
Okay, so there are a lot of things that can draw you back from wanting to create that change. Maybe because you feel that you can't continue, or you just feel drawn back, or all those things. What I would say is, and the first thing was, you need to engage by approaching. And the other is, make sure that whatever problem that you want to solve aligns with what exactly you are facing. Like, it must align with what you want to do. And look at me now, I'm still here talking to you, and tomorrow I'll still go to another community. That's because I believe in what I want to do. And as long as I am not doing anything wrong, I feel that then I can do it. So, first, it must align with what you want to do. If it does not align with what you want to do, then you will struggle. Not because everybody is doing SDGs or environment, you want to do environment. It is not possible. That's why we have 17 different goals. You can't see anybody that is doing all 17 goals. They pick one that aligns with what they want to do. So that is the first thing you need to do, because it is when you are interested in that problem and you know that this problem is what you want to carry out. When you are faced with many challenges, it is easier for you to overcome them because you remember why you started it, and because you know you've not actualized um, the aim of why you started in the first place, is to carry you through the process. So the second one is, in engaging with communities, there are a lot of things that could go wrong. A lot of things. That is why you need to speak to the right people. So now you've identified a problem. How do you now approach these people? You meet the authorities, because you can't just bump into a community and say you want to start asking questions. It's not possible. You find people that would answer you quite all right, but you find other people that will be hostile to you. And you know that in taking pictures and videos and posting without people's permission, it might be detrimental for you on the long run. So how do you overcome all these challenges? You speak to the local leader. You tell the local leader your intention. You tell him what you want to do. And when you tell him what you want to do, then you can go with and start up what you want to do. He is aware. So whatever it is you want to do in that community, he's aware. And if you want to speak to people and say, oh, I want to take pictures of you, this is what I want to use them for, you have to seek their permission. So when you post them online, you know that you have something to back it up. You know that it is by choice. That's why many times when I post some of my videos, if they don't want me to post their videos, I cover their faces. And if I put their names and everything, that means they want me to post it. But then let's not forget, in engaging with the community, let's remember that every person has a share of the problems, or everybody contributes to every of the problems that we face. And so many people we know that we have governments, we have political leaders who are supposed to take charge of our own interests. But then many of the decisions that they make are not, sorry, are not favorable for us. And so we tend to struggle. And so I have realized that we are no longer waiting for them. Let the government make the decisions based on how they think is best. Because whatever decisions that they make, it will still fall down on some people, which is not going to be favorable for some people. It will be favorable for some. It will be favorable for some people. So what we can do is take up the responsibility to create little change. Because if a government sees that you're already creating this change, no, everybody wants to align with something that is good and great. You get the attraction that you need. So, in answering your questions, two things that you need to do: one, engage with the right authorities in the community before you start, seek permissions for whatever activities you want to do. And the second is for you to know why you are doing what you are doing. Because trust me, the road is very bumpy. The road can be tiring and the road can be frustrating. So, what will keep you on when you are faced with these many challenges? It is the desire to make that change, which aligns with who you are. And that's it.
I believe if we really needed somebody to really tell you that we can move the mountain, at least you have the person. Yes, you need to
So,
align who you are to the desire for you to push. So thank you so much for that very informative reply. There's also another question. It's asking, expand more on teamwork as community appreciates the change you bring to them. Let's say, of course, you have a team that you work with. You've talked of your
of course.
friends, you've talked of the people. So please elaborate more on the value of teamwork.
Okay, so if you are able to if you are able to get people that align with the vision of the change or the social impact that you want to make, good. Because this team, in forming a team, it is not something that can start expressly. I started alone, and today I can say that I have a power team, 4 people who are always there, and we have other like 20 other volunteers which come and go. But these 4 people are the people that have been there. And why is because you need to show people that this is what you are doing. This is what you have done before they say, oh, I like what you, before you can attract people that would be able to work with you. So in building a team, like the quote says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with a team. Go with a team rather. And that too can never be overemphasized because you cannot do everything alone. Although the workload will be on you because you're in the social impact space, it is a space where you can't really make money. Even when you can make money, because it's a non-governmental organization, you cannot make money to your pocket. Whatever money you make, you're using it to create a change, or you're using it to help the society out. So if you have this team, they divide your workload and they make the pressure less for you because each and every one of them have the inputs that they will make. You are the sole owner of the idea, all right? But then we are humans and we have our own limitations based on the fact that we are humans. So now, when you have an idea, there are sometimes you might lack clarity, which is normal. If you have an idea, you will lack clarity. When I started, I was the most confused human being that you can ever find on this earth. I was very confused. But the only two things that I had was my desire and my mind. And so I had to work because I wanted people to believe in the cause that I am in. And people can only believe in you if they see results. And some people, even if they see results, they will still not believe in what you're doing. They'll consider what you're doing as rubbish. Do you get? So, in having a team, you need to have a team. But don't worry if you don't have a team now, because it takes time and process to build one. Start alone. You find people along the line that aligns with your dreams. They might not necessarily be in your space, but they align with what you're doing because they love it that you're making change and you will push them further to do what they have to do. So these people will help you. When you explain some certain things to you, there are some angles you might not be looking at. These people would help many times to put that clarity to the surface. Because I might be having issues with wanting to do a certain thing. How do I carry this now? Because I'm tired and I'm brain tired, I'm body exhausted, and I need to do this thing. And I just say, come on, you people, this is what I have. How can we achieve it? You'll be shocked. Then all of a sudden you're more well, we call it ginger in quotes. You're more you're hyperactive. These people would help you in rainy days that you're tired, and because they are there, the right team would encourage you to keeping on, and you guys will learn from each other. And so the power of a team is what anyone can have. But if you don't have it now, do not worry. They would come. You'll be surprised that the people that you might think would be your team members would not. People you don't even know from anywhere will be the one that will even channel your path into the right place because they know that this is who you are, and this is what you want to do, and they believe in you and they believe in your dream. So that's it for having a team.
So I really hope Val, you've been really inspired. If you don't have a team right now, they will come. Eh? So they will come. And you'll get people who will align with your dream. People will want to walk with you. They might not necessarily be those people who are close to you. People surprise you in this world. Maybe like a boyfriend coming from Uganda, something like that. But it is fine. Anyway, so there's a there's a
It's
comment
better you
here.
ended the conversation there.
Yes, Tobias Kanyala is saying we should be the change we want to see. He says that having the guts to start, I think, is what some people lack. Actually, most people lack having the guts
Yeah, of course,
to
to
start.
start.
And yes, he says, as the able speakers put it, we just need to believe in ourselves and start small, and the rest will follow.
Of course.
And then Wambui Hinga is saying that sometimes starting out on a new venture can be really exhausting. And
Of
at
course.
times, it does not get easier when there is no support system to keep you grounded.
There.
So she asked, how do you stay motivated as an individual and avoid losing sight of the bigger picture? I think these are a really big question.
Okay,
How do you
so,
not lose sight of the bigger picture?
well, I am not a motivational speaker, but I'm going to speak from experience. There is there are three things that are inevitable, and they are you getting tired, you lacking motivation sometimes, and you wanting to quit. Let's forget about the support system now. As a person, the only thing that keeps me going is that I have not gotten to actualize the change that I want to see. That's what keeps me going. And my desire to make every place sustainable for my children, not for me and not for anybody else. When I give birth to my children, what type of world do I want to leave for them? What type of world will they come to live in? And I cannot help the situation because I am not in a place of power. And if I am tested to be in a place of power, how would I actualize it? So it starts from where you are. And if you make a conscious effort to do things the way you should, when you are placed in that place of power, it will reflect automatically. So now the point is, the only thing that keeps me going is I have not gotten to my bus stop yet. It might take a lifetime for me to do that. So as a person, when you are lacking motivation, one, rest. When you are tired and you lack motivation, drink plenty of water, eat very well, and sleep. In fact, if you need to sleep 3 days, sleep 3 days. And when you sleep that 3 days and you wake up, sometimes you might even have to cry. My dear, cry so much. Then when you're done, remember why you started. That is why it is important. And I'll repeat again. If you do not have the desire or the change that you want to make, if it does not align with you, my dear, just forget about it. You will not be able to carry on. You will realize that many organizations started and they are nowhere to be found. Why? Because they feel probably this person is doing this, I can do it. It's not a matter of I can do it, it's a matter of I exist to solve a problem. And till I am on this earth, I will work towards solving this problem, even if it takes a lifetime. And do you know that change is a process? It is not something that happens overnight. You might be doing it. You die in the process. Somebody else will continue. All the great change makers, Martin Luther King and Mother Teresa, all of them, they created a change, but they never got to that place to see the change actualize. But they've set a pace. They've made massive changes through the way they lived their lives, through methods and processes that they've created for people like us to continue from where they stop. And we too would die and others will continue from where they stop. So if you stop now, or because somebody's not supporting you or you don't have the money or you are depressed because your mates are going higher than you are and you are not, and you're like, let me stop. Are you really fulfilled? If you know it to give you fulfillment to stop, stop. You can always join others to create the change. That's why we hear many people say, I want to volunteer. Many people feel they cannot create that change, or they cannot start up something on their own because they are afraid and all of that. So they join other people to create that change. And let me tell you something, if an organization or a person is already creating a change that you want to create, I don't think you should start up another one. Join them to continue the process. And if you know that the change you want to create, people are not looking towards that place and nobody is doing anything in that space, it is time for you to own that space. When you are tired, what I do is when I'm tired, I sleep, I eat, I rest. Eating can never be overemphasized. Resting can never be over, because it gives you a time to rebuild, you to reboot, and you realize that the amount of energy that you will get, your head will be free. You will be able to think, looking at another strategy to still actualize that same goal that you have. So, my dear, if you're feeling less motivated, rest, think, and start over again. This doesn't mean that you should switch goals. No, because if you keep switching goals, that means you don't know what you are doing. You have one goal, but you can switch methods to actualize that goal. So motivate, be your own motivator, because people will fail you, my dear. Be your own motivator. And that's it. Or your own
Yes,
motivation, as the case may be.
yes, I think we're still going back to what you said earlier, youth power.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bodily features that you have to bring the change to the world. So be your own motivation. People may fail you, so find where you get motivated. But I think one thing
Yeah.
that I'm getting from this reply is that food cannot be overemphasized. Eat. We really need to eat, and also we need to rest, and above all we need to remember why we started the ventures that we had. We need to also remember why we started this. The goal is still the same, but we need to just change the methods. We just need to get different tickers so that we can push on. There's also another question. I think I'd missed it earlier, and there's a person who had raised their hand. I believe it's Alex. Please just raise your hand so I know where you are. The I can't see it well, but the question was, how can you advise young people who might want to change a few aspects of their social lives, despite the political instabilities? I believe in Africa we experience almost the same turbulence that almost every other country in Africa has in terms of political instability. So how do we do that?
And I'm so sorry. I lost what you were saying at some point.
The question was, how can we advise young people
Okay.
to that desire social change in the society amidst political instabilities in areas where there's a lot of political instability, but they want to create social change? What advice can you give to us young people, those who are experiencing such problems?
Okay, so I know I mentioned one thing earlier. I said in every challenges that we face, or in every problem, the solution lies within that problem. All you need to do is identify it. And so there are lots of political instabilities in our world today, in Africa, in other countries. Nobody has it all together, but there are levels to it. So, in wanting to create that change, politically, we are supposed to be inclined, we are supposed to get involved. But in a case where all you need to do is get involved, let me start with that. You want to create a social change. You don't need to get to the president or the governor to create that change. There are lots of political instabilities, and that is why you need to first learn everything that you want to learn. Okay, so I'm going to tell you one thing, but I'll keep the names off the conversation. I went to do one community engagement. I've been staying in the community for about 3 4 months. Then something happened, and it was the government versus the community. And I left. It happened in a split second. I left the community about an hour. The next 2 hours, everything had gone. A lot of things had gone. The people were sent out. The place was broken down, and lots of conflict happened. So how do you process that in such situation? How do you help the people? You cannot, in whatever you do, if you don't have a voice, if you don't have one voice that every single person wants a particular change, and so they are forming a body or a voice to create that change, then you can't make that big change that is required. But then you can do something significant that can work towards changing the situation. And so what did I do? My life was at risk. Every other thing was at risk. But these people are now like a second family because I lived there. Everybody practically knew me. And I took some food. I went there. I saw a bit of people. I saw the brutality firsthand. I experienced it. It happened to me personally. But then it didn't stop me. I stayed away for some time, for like 3 4 days. Then I went back. I spoke to these people and I encouraged them. So this is what it is. Even if the world is a better place, we still have bad things, we still have good things. But do we stop the good things because we have the bad things? No. What you need to do is in doing the change or in making or creating the social impact, make sure you're safe first. Because if you're not safe, who will make the change that you want to make? Nobody. Do you understand? You need to safeguard yourself first. And when you know that you are safe, the goal is still the same, but you need to change your approach. Let's say, for instance, the government has taken over a particular land, and the government says, okay, this land now belongs to the government because the government is not pleased with what is happening in that land. And they chase everybody away, and probably the government didn't put it in their, the government didn't look out for, or everybody just had to move into into other places. How do you help the community? That doesn't mean the community would not have the problem that it's having. Maybe the problem of waste, or the people are the different people that have been chased out. They don't have a particular place they will settle in. What can you do in that situation? the, the government is already the government has already taken over this place, and you still want to make the change. So how do you make that change when you know that, okay, these people are no longer there? Now you start looking for how to trace, even if it's at least one of these people, know how these things, or know where they are, because you already have contact people. You know where they are. You can chill for a bit when all the situation dies down, because the government can be angry at a particular point and make decisions that they feel is best. But then stay away for some time, reboot, bring other methods that can help you actualize that dream, and come back. And when you come back, you find out that these people are still facing the same problems. And so now, rather than you just go there when you know that the place is a conflict area, you can go there much later and now look at, okay, what is left, what is happening, what has happened. Then you change your plans, but then you still actualize that goal. So amidst all of these political issues, make sure that in you wanting to do any of all those things in a place that is really in conflict, what you can do is make sure that you are safe, make sure that anybody that knows you know where you are, make sure that you are with the right authorities and you've gotten the right documents to back you to still keep doing this change, because you're part of the community. And since you're part of the community, you owe the community your service. And when you do that, and I think The government has made the decision. It doesn't stop you as an individual to do whatever it is that you want to do. As long as it is not against the law. Number two, as long as it is not violent. Number three, you are merely just creating a change. So in doing that, you always find people to help you with your new approaches. Like I said earlier, the goal is still the same. The approaches, because you might be at a particular community today and there'll be conflict in it. You might just have one community, the youth in one community fighting against the youth in another community, and it becomes ready. In that situation, do you still want to create a change in that kind of a situation? No, you have to keep yourself safe first, because the only people that can create change are people that are alive. So you safeguard yourself first. Then you wanted to go back, you find out um, the complexity of the issue. And when you find out the complexity of the issue, definitely you have to change your approach. And you still need to work towards actualizing that same goal, but using different strategies. But having to meet the right authorities and getting the right stakeholders involved would help you actualize, because you cannot just go to a community without having access the stakeholders at both or at the different levels. So political instabilities, even if our world is better, they will still political instabilities will still be in existence. We will still have lots of political issues. We will still have people that would want to fight. We will still have people that will be violent. And that is why me and you, that is why the changes that we want to create are very important. Are very, very important, because in talking to people, we need to be able to influence their decisions and influence their behaviors to align with whatever it is we want to do. So that's it.
So I think Val, your answer, the the reply was very detailed. Yes, and I think yes, she's saying that it is well understood. So there is no problem in being safe. You always need to take a step back, ensure that
Yeah,
you live to tell the story another day.
of
And
course.
I believe just one thing that I think is something that most journalists also share, in that before you go to a place, you have to know the authority. You have to inform the authority of the area that
Of
I'm in
course.
your zone. This is what I'm going to do. It's for, let's say, for your own protection. And also you need to
Yes.
ask permission for you to do whatever you do, because sometimes you might be there and somebody might ask you, um, what are you doing here? You don't even have
Of course.
credentials to be here, and such like that. Things can put you into very
Problems, more problems.
problematic. So I believe that is very, very important. Always step back, but always remember the goal is the same, but the methods can be different.
Of
Yes.
course.
So there's also another question here. The question is coming from Jude. He's saying that he's asking, what will be the best approach in a situation where you are in a different community or country that you find yourself, and you bearing in mind that you need to change your community back at home. What will be the best approach? So let's say you want to make a change in your community. For example, let's say you are in Kenya, but there is
Of
something that
course.
you feel like you really want to change in Nigeria. What
Mm.
will have been what would be the best approach?
Okay. So same approach. If you're in Kenya and you have an issue that you want to solve in Nigeria, okay, so I'll speak on it on two angles. So if you're a Nigerian citizen in Kenya and you want to change a problem in Nigeria, the only thing you can do is partnership. That is why goal 17 of the SDG goals says partnership and stronger institutions. You are outside there. You might know this place properly because you grew up here, but at the point where this problem is, you are no longer in the country. And so there are lots of things that are underrooted that you need to know. And the only way you can do that is partner with somebody that is in the country that has a wealth of knowledge on the problem and the possible solutions that can work. And so you partner with that person and you form an alliance, or you form a partnership, sorry, and you carry out whatever change that you see, because it is that person that would work towards creating that change, you over there would need. And so the support that you need to give to that person would come between the agreements that you have and all other formalities that goes with forming partnerships. And so if you are a Kenyan in Kenya and you have a solution that works in your country and you think, oh, you love Nigeria so much and you have lots of friends that you think that, okay, this idea can work in Nigeria, and you want to make a change in Nigeria because you believe in partnership for the goals let's say at regional level, like Kenya to Nigeria, or let's say national level, different nations. The only thing that you can do is as well to partner with a Nigerian here and know if the solutions that you have over there can work for the problems in Nigeria. Like I said earlier, you can't impose a solution from another place into another person here. It's not possible. It can't work, except these problems are the same, which it can't happen for it to be the same. There is always an element of difference, which will make that solutions not create that impact. So what you can do is make sure that the person researches the problem and you can now adopt, not impose. You can adopt that solutions to fit into the peculiarity of the problem in Nigeria for it to work. And that can only work if you have partnership and if you have the need assessments, which comes with researching. So that's how you can create the change in another community that is not in your country.
I believe the baseline of your reply to Jude is basically seek local solutions to local problems, because in most cases we tend to impose foreign ideas on people. Personally, I don't like being such like things being imposed on me. At least the bit about adoption in terms of doing a baseline research on whatever the problem might be, and trying to find a balance between the two, that can really work. And the idea also about partnerships is really important, because sometimes you can also act as a conduit wherever you are to bring that social change to the places you desire for it to be.
Yeah.
Even if sometimes you can be the dream carrier, but not necessarily the person who implements whatever change that they need.
That you have.
So I'd love to call it a wrap right now. Yes, because I believe this has been an informative session, very lively, and I believe you came in really prepared for this. And I really love when I engage with people who know they're talking about, people are fired up, people who want to actually create a difference in people. And I believe the bit that you're talking about, little things, this is also another way of you doing a social project. No, bringing social change in people, sharing your ideas, your journey, your experience through community-based engagements and everything else. I believe we just need to start. We just need to start from wherever we are. That first step actually really counts. So perhaps you could share with us your last perhaps final thoughts. Yes, and also give us greetings. I don't know if you're in Lagos right now.
Yes, I'm in Lagos. Okay, so my final words are: you are a force, and then you have to spread that energy, because many people, you might not know, but many people look up to you, and we know that each and every single one of us are connected to each other in one way or the other. What affects you will affect the other person. So if you don't create that change and you don't work towards it, someone else will, and you might end up regretting it. But then you are a force and you're a force that you need to reckon with, you can make that change that you want. And it starts with you. Own your power. Own your power as a young person. You have the power. Own your power. Do not wait for anybody. Make that change and spread the energy around you. So do not wait. Time waits for no one, but then choose the right course and follow it through. You'll be tired, you'll be stressed, you'll be frustrated. You might want to go into depression at times, but then it is part of the journey. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And then
Yes.
Asante. I hope I
You
got it
remembered.
right.
I was waiting.
Asante.
Yes, yes, Asante.
Asante.
I failed to ask. I failed to ask how I can say it. I don't know. I wouldn't. I don't want to profile
Okay.
you. I don't know if it's in Yoruba or in
It's
Igbo or
Yoruba.
in.
I'm a
I don't. I
Yoruba
don't
girl.
know.
So it's
You're a Yoruba
called
girl. I know. I'm good at guessing. Yeah. So how do I say thank you in Yoruba?
Eshe. Eshe.
Eshe.
Yes. Eshe. Ah, you're
Eshe.
really good. Eshe. Yes.
Thank you. I might be flying there soon. Anyway, thank you so much for this session. Thank you so much for
You're
availing your time and
welcome. You're
everything else.
welcome.
Yes. There's somebody who's really saying a good forum. It has been a good Tobias Kanyal actually saying this is a good forum. I don't know if next time we'll organize for economic change and youth empowerment next time and also invite you. I
No
think you lit up
problem.
the session. So I'm seeing most of my friends with the names like Francis, Jude, Tobias, Andrew. I've really stayed and even David. I don't want to name the rest, but I think you can categorize the names from David to Francis. But thank you so much. I'll have to give this opportunity to Deacon Steve to at least give a vote of thanks and
Okay.
also at least um, perhaps in terms of gender and also give a lady by the name Val to also pass a vote of thanks. So I'll start with
Okay.
Val.
All right.
So Steve, I don't know if you can unmute her. So as we wait for her to
She's a
be
co-host. She can unmute herself.
muted. Yes, Val, please unmute yourself and give us a vote of thanks, and then we'll finish with I don't know. I'm finding it hard saying Brother Steve, Deacon Steve, Max, but I think it will work. So yes, Val.
So Pascal,
Yes.
hello Pascal. Val is requesting that you could ask Amelia to do that.
Okay. Amelia, please. I've even seen that you've unmuted yourself. So please, the floor is yours, albeit virtually.
Amelia, you can go ahead.
Technology. Yes, Amelia.
Thank you. Mine is just to say thank you for today's session. It was very educating and mind opening. So, for the organizers of today's speaker, big up.
Asante. Thank you too.
Eshe, Amelia, Eshe. I don't know if I'm
Eshe,
pronouncing the name right because
Eshe
yes,
Gongo. You're pronouncing it well. Right on.
yes, Eshe Gongong. In my language, when you say Gongong, is you're like knocking on somebody's head. So if you say
I
Gongong, so I
see.
don't know. Eshe Gongong.
Eshe
Yes, may God bless
Gongo
you.
is thank you very much. Eshe
There is a
Gong.
Nigerian musician who has sung a song. I don't know, Eshe or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, so please, Deacon Steve, Brother Steve, yes, you can has the final vote of thanks. I don't know what's the time in Lagos right now.
I think this is almost 8 o'clock, 7:59 p.m.
Ah, I didn't know Kenya. I didn't know for us here in Nairobi, we are still ahead of
Yeah,
Nigeria.
you're ahead of us. Yes.
And we win races and 159. I don't know if you know about that.
Yeah, I do. I do. Yeah, like 2 hours or 2 hours, 20 minutes ahead of us. If I'm right.
So yes, brother Steve.
Okay, good evening to everybody. I
Good
want to say
evening.
thank you to Abimbola for accepting to take this opportunity to talk to us. It has been a nice session. We have learned, and we promise to take action and to take the power in our hands to do it.
Yes.
I also thank Pascal for being a moderator, for being very attentive and to help taking notes. May God bless all of you and the work you've done. We also give gratitude to those who joined us, the members for the session, and welcome again next time. We'll be again on next Thursday, same time, same place, different topic. You are most welcome. And thank you all. Pascal, back to you.
Yes, thank you so much. I think this is the first time that you've been very brief, and we thank God for that. So, unfortunately, we didn't begin with a word of prayer, but we'll close with a word of prayer from Brother David Mutua. But in the meantime, I also want to pass my gratitude. I want to thank the organizers of this forum for approaching me. We are talking about community engagement. Thank you for approaching me to make this social change. Yes, so thank you so much. And thank you so much, Abimbola, for creating time. I believe after this, we would be getting in touch. I don't know, through online spaces, we can organize more forums where you can continue to inspire more young people to drive the change within themselves to make the difference in the society. And I believe God is going to bless your endeavors in every
Amen.
activity that you desire actually to push through the agendas that you have. I believe also at the international, I don't know if you are still there at the international climate change
Climate
development
change.
initiative for Africa.
Yeah. I'm still
Yes.
there. Yeah.
So when you approach next time, you're still there. Okay,
Yeah.
that's lovely. So yeah, and when next time you're approached, you'll also come. And I believe you've also created some good Kenyan friends. Apart from Steve, I'm the second one. And I think the numbers will increase. I like to be number one, so it's okay. So I don't know, people have said so many things and we're just talking. I don't know if you can also say something. Some people have joined in right now. You can just bless them before our final word of prayer from Brother David.
So you want me to say something now? Okay, so
Yes,
I
some
think
Eshe,
what I was
yes, some Eshe Gong Gong.
okay, so what I'm going to say is Aduke, oh, thank you very Aduke means thank you very it means it's a form of gratitude. Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you very much for listening to me. I hope that with what I have said today, I hope that we are charged up to create that change. If you know that you're tired, you can reach out to every other person to help you out. Because believe me, partnership can never be emphasized, like I keep saying. And then if you have further questions or you want further clarification, you can reach out to me. You can send your requests or you can send your messages through email or through my WhatsApp number, or you can send through Brother Steve, you reach out to me. So feel free if you're having any form of issue at all, just reach out and we are here to help each other. We are the same, we are one, and the more the better, the greater the impact. So each and every one of us have the capacity to create that change, and we just need to start regardless. So thank you very much, and thank you.
Asante sana. So let's finish with a word of prayer from
Okay.
Brother David Mutua. And yes, Beric, welcome. Next time, come early. Yes, a word of prayer.
Okay, let us pray. Thank you, Pascal. Sauti kidogo iko na shida, lakini juu ni maombi, wacha tujikaze. So we pray in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. We thank you, Abba Father, for the gift of life. We thank you in a special way for this evening, for bringing us together in order to share your wisdom. Father, we thank you for our presenter. We as youths go through a lot, and today you have taught us, oh Lord, to find local solutions for local problems. Be with us, send forth your Spirit so that we may live whatever we've learned this evening. We thank you, O Lord, also for all those who wished to join us, but for one reason or the other, they were unable to join us. Lord, may you be with them as well and help us to share the message with other youths as we depart to our various areas of sleep, to our various works. We ask you, Lord, to go with us, to be with us, and to bless us. Bless us as we try to live that change that we so much desire. We ask all this through Christ our Lord.
Amen.
Amen. Steve.
Amen.
Yes. So have a blessed night.
Blessings from Steve
The Lord be with you.
Yes.
and
The
with his
Spirit.
Spirit.
And the blessing of the mighty God be upon you, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Amen.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Okay, my first given to me, I will unmute all of you. You can now make noise. Now the class is over. I'll unmute all of you.
Yes, we Abimbola, I don't know if